a dark romance short story written by Wicked Serenity. Introduction. They said I was born for one purpose, to kill the man fate made for me. My entire life was built around that command. His name. His scent. His heartbeat. I was trained to end them all. But no one warned me what would happen when I finally looked into his eyes. Because the moment I did, I couldn't breathe. I couldn't strike. Every lesson I'd ever learned turned to ash. They call him a monster. A killer. A curse wrapped in flesh. Maybe he is. But if I'm meant to kill him, then tell me, why does my heart break every time I imagine a world where he no longer breathes? If I fail, I die. If I succeed, I lose him forever. Chapter 1. Blood ran down my wrist, hot and steady, mixing with the rain. The scent of it made the night hum. Somewhere in the walls, a wolf was watching me. I could feel him. My father always said fear keeps you alive, but tonight it felt like poison. The city was too still. No crickets, no wind, just the slow heartbeat pounding in my throat. I adjusted the silver blade in my hand and whispered the hunter's creed under my breath. Find the beast. End the curse. Never fall. The ground shifted behind me. I spun fast, blade ready. The movement was silent, too fast for human eyes. For 1 second, I caught a shadow, massive, golden-eyed, half-hidden in the fog. Then it was gone. Show yourself, I hissed. I'm not running. A low growl came from the dark. It didn't sound angry. It sounded curious. My chest tightened. That sound, it wasn't the first time I'd heard it. A week ago, in another city, I'd heard it in my dreams. The voice that followed froze me where I stood. You shouldn't be here, little hunter. The voice was deep, smooth, and wrong. It slithered through the walls and into my blood. Come out, I said again, raising my blade. He stepped out from the shadows like the night itself was giving him form, tall, broad-shouldered, eyes glowing faint amber. His skin glistened with rain, his shirt torn at the collar, like he'd run through a storm to find me. My pulse stumbled. He smiled slightly. Do you even know whose city you're standing in? I don't care. He tilted his head, studying me. You should. Hunters don't survive here. I'm not most hunters. No, he said quietly. You're not. Something about the way he said it made the air thicken. My heart stuttered, a slow, painful beat. Then it hit me. The scent. It wrapped around me, earth and smoke and something darker, something familiar. My knees nearly gave out. I'd trained my whole life to recognize that smell. Mate scent. I stumbled back, shaking my head. No. No, that's not. Yes, he said, eyes narrowing. You feel it too. The blade trembled in my grip. That's impossible. Is it? His gaze flicked to my hand, then back to my eyes. Do you know why your heart hurts right now? I could barely breathe. The pull between us was a living thing, hot, magnetic, violent. My whole body screamed to go to him even as my mind shouted to run. Stop it, I whispered. Whatever this is, stop it. He took a slow step closer. I can't. And neither can you. Lightning flashed behind him, painting his face in silver light. For a heartbeat, I saw the wolf beneath the man, the wildness, the danger, the hunger. Every instinct told me to strike. I lunged. He caught my wrist before the blade could reach his chest. His grip was strong, but not cruel. Our skin touched, and the world broke open. 1,000 sensations crashed through me: fire, cold, grief, desire. My breath hitched, and my knees buckled. He steadied me with his other hand, his thumb brushing against my pulse. The mark on my wrist, the hunter's mark I'd been branded with as a child, flared red hot. "What are you doing to me?" I gasped. His jaw tightened. "It's not me. It's fate. Fate doesn't exist." He smiled, but there was no warmth in it. "Tell that to your blood." I yanked free, stumbling backward. "You're lying. I kill your kind for a living. You can't be my mate?" His voice dropped to a whisper. "Then why aren't you dead?" I froze. Hunters who met their fated wolves didn't live long. The old legend said the bond between human and beast was too strong, too consuming, it burned the weaker one alive. But I was still standing. My pulse raced, and for the first time in my life, I didn't know which side of the war I belonged to. "Who are you?" I asked. He stepped closer, his voice low. "I'm the alpha of this land. My name is Raen." Raen. The name every hunter was raised to fear. The wolf who'd slaughtered entire outposts. The nightmare whispered by dying men. I tightened my grip on the knife. "Then I should have killed you already." "Then why haven't you?" "Because I couldn't move. Because every cell in my body screamed that killing him would be like killing myself." Rain dripped from my hair into my eyes. "Because something's wrong with me." "No," he said softly. "Something's finally right." The silence between us cracked with thunder. My breathing came uneven, the air too heavy to draw. He took another step closer. I didn't retreat this time. "Tell me your name," he said. "No." "Say it." "Why?" "Because it's killing me not to hear it from your lips." His voice wasn't human anymore, it was too raw, too honest. I wanted to look away, but I couldn't. "My name is Aria," I whispered. He inhaled sharply, like the sound of it was a wound. "Aria," he repeated. "Now it's real." Something in his tone broke the dam inside me. My knife fell from my hand, landing uselessly between us. The curse of the hunters was simple: if you ever found your fated wolf, you were destined to kill them or die trying. I'd never believed in curses before. But as Rain's eyes locked on mine, I felt it awaken in my blood. And I knew, deep in my bones, that one of us wasn't leaving this place alive. Chapter 2. The rain turned colder. I could barely hear my own heartbeat over the thunder in my skull. Rain didn't move, and neither did I. We were two enemies caught in a spell older than blood. Then the pain hit. It started at my wrist, spreading like fire through my veins. I gasped and dropped to one knee. The mark burned, twisting, reshaping itself beneath my skin. "Aria," Rain said sharply. "Don't touch me." He ignored me. His hands gripped my shoulders, steadying me as the pain tore through my spine. For a heartbeat, I thought he was the one hurting me. But when I looked up, he was grimacing too, his eyes flickering between gold and black, his jaw clenched tight. "It's the bond," he ground out. "It's forcing the link." I pushed against his chest, breath ragged. "Then break it." "I can't. Not without breaking you too." The pain came again, deeper this time, like invisible claws sinking into my soul. I screamed, and his roar followed, echoing mine through the forest. Then, just as suddenly, it stopped. Silence. I collapsed forward. He caught me before I hit the ground. Breathe, he said quietly. I did. Once. Twice. The world steadied, but something inside me had changed. The mark on my wrist no longer looked human, it pulsed faintly, a crescent of silver light threaded through red. What did you do to me? I whispered. Nothing, he said, voice hoarse. It's what fate did the moment you entered my land. I shoved him away and stumbled back. You think I believe that? You cursed me. His eyes softened, but his tone stayed sharp. If I had, you'd already be dead. I wanted to deny it, to call him a liar, but the truth was in my body. I could feel him, his pulse under my skin, the way his breath seemed to echo mine. It was sickening. Terrifying. Addictive. Stay away from me, I said. I can't. You will. His lips curved faintly, humorless. Try running, little hunter. See how far you get before your body turns on you. I took a step back. Then another. His eyes tracked me, pupils dark and hungry. You'll come back. You'll always come back. I'd rather die. He nodded once. You might. Then he disappeared into the fog, like smoke dissolving into air. I didn't realize I was shaking until my knife slipped from my hand again. By dawn, I was back in the village. My mentor, Yerrick, looked up as I pushed through the door of our safe house. Aria? His gaze dropped to my arm. You're bleeding. It's fine. It's not. He grabbed my wrist before I could hide it. The mark glowed faintly under his touch. His face drained of color. What did you do? I yanked free. I found him. His expression turned to stone. Rain. I nodded. You should be dead. I should be, I said quietly. But I'm not. He stared at me for a long time, then swore under his breath. The curse bound you, didn't it? I didn't answer. He slammed his hand on the table. Damn it, Aria. You can't kill him now, not without killing yourself. I'll find a way. There is no way. I met his eyes. Then I'll make one. Yerrick exhaled slowly. The last hunter who tried to break a bond like that burned from the inside out. Then I'll burn. He shook his head. You don't get it. If he dies, you die. If you touch him again, it'll get worse. You have to stay away. I can't, I whispered. He won't let me. For the first time since I'd known him, Yerrick looked afraid. Then you have to leave this place. Go south, across the river. We'll cover your trail. I'm not running. You're cursed, Aria. I'm still a hunter. He leaned closer, lowering his voice. No, you're not. Not anymore. That hit harder than I expected. I turned away before he could see my face. That night, I dreamt of him. I stood in the same city, moonlight bleeding through the fog. Rain was there, shirtless, skin marked with faint scars, eyes golden and furious. You can't fight this forever, he said. I'll die trying. He stepped closer, and the ground trembled. You think your world will let you live knowing what you are now? A bonded killer? I didn't choose this. Neither did I. His voice cracked on the last word. It didn't sound like a threat anymore. It sounded like confession. Then the dream shifted. His hand brushed my cheek, just a ghost of touch, and the air burned where he touched me. I woke up gasping, the scent of him still clinging to my skin. 3 days later, Yarrick was dead. I found his body at dawn, throat torn out, the symbol of a wolf's fang carved into the dirt beside him. My chest went cold. They said the rogues had done it, the same feral wolves that haunted the borders. But deep down, I knew better. I could feel Raen watching from somewhere unseen. I waited until nightfall, then packed my blades. The mark on my wrist throbbed like a second heartbeat. "Fine," I whispered into the dark. "You want me? Come find me." The forest answered with silence. I didn't wait for it to speak again. The moment I crossed back into his land, the pull returned, stronger, sharper. The air thickened, humming with unseen power. He was waiting. Raen stepped from the shadows as if he'd been standing there the whole time, his eyes half wild, his voice rough. "I told you not to come back. You killed him." He didn't deny it. "He came for me first. You could have spared him." "I don't spare hunters." "Then you'll die like one." He smirked. "You really think you can kill me now, when every breath you take ties you tighter to me?" I lifted my blade, silver gleaming in the moonlight. "I don't need to kill you. I just need to stop breathing." His expression faltered, and for the first time, I saw fear flicker behind his eyes. Chapter 3. The silver blade caught the moonlight, trembling slightly in my hand. Raen didn't move. His chest rose and fell, slow, steady, infuriatingly calm. "Put it down," he said quietly. I took a step forward. "You took everything from me." He met my eyes, his own glinting like wet steel. "I gave you a choice." "No," I hissed. "You took it." The bond thrummed between us, pulling, twisting, aching. I swung the blade. He caught my wrist mid-strike. The impact sent sparks through me, real ones. The air sizzled where our skin met. "Stop fighting it," he growled. "I will never stop." He twisted my arm just enough to disarm me. The knife fell to the ground. Before I could grab it again, he stepped in close, too close. His breath brushed my ear. "Do you even know what happens when a bond like ours is severed?" "Enlighten me." "One of us dies. The other follows within hours. It's not a curse, it's a command." I jerked back, glaring. "You think I care?" "Don't lie to yourself," he murmured. "You feel it too." That broke something inside me. "You think pain is love? You think this sickness, is fate?" He smiled without warmth. "I think the goddess has a cruel sense of humor." I shoved him away, but he didn't resist. For a long moment, neither of us spoke. The forest around us was silent except for the faint rustle of wind through dead leaves. Finally, I said, "Why me?" He looked at me like I'd asked him to explain the stars. "You think I wanted this? You think I wanted you?" "Say it," I snapped. His eyes darkened. "You were supposed to kill me. That's how the curse ends." My breath caught. "What?" He nodded once. "When the hunter kills the marked alpha, the bloodline resets. The goddess grants peace." But she didn't count on the bond forming before the blade struck. "You mean? You failed to kill me because you're mine now," he finished, voice low and bitter. "And I can't kill you because I'm yours." The truth hit harder than any weapon could. I'd spent years training to end monsters like him, only to become bound to one. He turned away, shoulders tense. You should go before I stop pretending I can let you. Why? Because if you stay, he said, I won't be able to keep you safe. I almost laughed. From what? You? From everyone else. Hunters. Wolves. The goddess herself. They'll all come for you now. I stepped forward again, my anger cracking under something heavier. Then let them come. Raen turned to face me, and for the first time I saw it, the exhaustion behind the rage. He looked ancient, tired of fighting a war no one remembered starting. Aria, he said softly, you don't understand what you've tied yourself to. Then explain it. He hesitated, jaw tight. The alpha line began with a promise. A wolf fell in love with a mortal, and the goddess cursed them both, one to live forever, one to die and be reborn in each generation until they found each other again. Every time they met, they'd recognize each other too late. And kill each other. He nodded. Until now. I swallowed hard. You're saying I'm her. He didn't answer. He didn't have to. I turned away, heart pounding so hard I could hear it in my ears. You're lying. Am I? His voice was soft now, dangerous in its calm. Tell me you didn't dream of me before we met. Tell me you didn't wake up with my name in your mouth. I froze. He smiled faintly. That's what I thought. We stood there for what felt like forever, two enemies tangled in a fate neither of us wanted. Then, somewhere in the distance, a howl split the night. Rain stiffened. They've found us. Who? The rogues. His voice dropped to a growl. They can smell your human blood. They'll tear you apart. I grabbed my knife. Let them try. He shot me a look that almost resembled amusement. You're reckless. I'm alive. He snorted. Barely. Another howl echoed, closer this time. He stepped toward me, eyes burning gold again. Stay behind me. I don't take orders. You will if you want to live. The first rogue broke through the wall, a twisted creature, half wolf, half shadow. Rain's snarl shook the ground. Run, he barked. But I didn't run. I threw my knife instead, straight through the rogue's throat. It hit the ground before it could reach him. Rain turned to me, surprise flickering across his face. Guess I don't need saving, I said. For a second, he almost smiled. Then 3 more rogues lunged from the darkness. The next few minutes were chaos, claws, blood, fire, and moonlight. Rain moved like something primal, every strike lethal. I fought beside him, the bond between us turning into something dangerous, electric. When the last rogue fell, I was breathing hard, covered in blood that wasn't all mine. Rain reached out, touching my arm gently. You shouldn't have stayed. Neither should you. We stared at each other, and something shifted in the air, less hatred now, more heat. He leaned closer, voice low. You're trembling. I'm angry. Liar. His hand brushed my face before I could stop him. The warmth of his skin broke something fragile inside me. Rain, I whispered. He closed his eyes. Don't say my name like that. Like what? Like you want to forgive me. I didn't answer. I didn't have to. The silence said enough. When he finally stepped back, his eyes were human again. If we stay together, we'll destroy each other. Maybe that's what we were meant to do. He looked at me for a long, terrible moment. Or maybe, he said softly, we were meant to change the story. Chapter 4. The city still smelled of blood and smoke. The rogues' bodies were gone, burned to ash by the heat of Rain's shifting power, but the air was heavy with the aftermath. He was pacing now, running a hand through his hair, streaked with dirt and crimson. They shouldn't have found us so soon. I watched him, my pulse still racing. Then we move before more come. He shook his head. No. If they could track us, so can she. Who? He turned toward me slowly, eyes shadowed. The goddess. The name hummed between us like thunder before a storm. You said she cursed you, I said. And she's never broken it, he replied. But this time, she'll come herself. A chill slid down my spine. Then we fight her. Rain actually laughed, harsh, hopeless. You can't fight a god, Aria. I crossed my arms. Watch me. He looked at me, his anger fading into something softer, almost reverent. You really would, wouldn't you? You'd fight heaven itself. If it means I get to choose who I am? Yeah. He took a step closer, his voice low. Then promise me something. If she comes, you run. No. Aria. I said no. I snapped. I'm done running from what I don't understand. You want to keep me safe? Then stop treating me like I'm breakable. Something in his expression shifted then, something like respect. Or maybe fear. Before he could answer, the ground trembled. A wind tore through the clearing, ripping the wall apart like paper. The air shimmered, and light, pure, white, and merciless, broke through the night. Rain swore, stepping in front of me, claws extending. She's here. The light took form, a woman, tall and otherworldly, her eyes like twin moons. Her voice was both music and blade. Children of my curse, she said. How many times must you disobey? Rain bared his teeth. End it, then. You've had your fun. She smiled faintly. I offered redemption. You chose rebellion. Then her gaze turned on me. The air itself grew heavy. And you, mortal. You were meant to kill him. Why do you hesitate? I'm not your weapon, I said. You were born from the bloodline I blessed for that purpose. You carry the curse in your veins. I took a shaky breath. Then I'll be the one to break it. Her expression didn't change, but her eyes darkened. No mortal can break divine law. Then maybe your law was wrong. The wind howled louder. Rain grabbed my hand, his grip searing with power. Don't talk to her. I made you, the goddess said, her voice echoing through the trees. Both of you. The wolf and the blade. You were never meant to love. I lifted my chin. Then you failed. For a heartbeat, the world went silent. Then everything exploded. The ground split, fire erupting from the cracks. Rain pulled me back, shielding me as shards of stone rained down. You can't protect her, the goddess thundered. He roared back, his voice raw and wild. Watch me! He lunged, shifting midair, his wolf form slamming into the light. The impact sent a shockwave through the clearing. I fell to my knees, the bond between us sparking like lightning. Pain seared through me, his pain. I could feel every tear in his flesh, every burn of divine power. Rain! I screamed. He turned his head toward me, eyes blazing gold. Stay back! But I didn't. I ran forward, through the fire, through the pain, until my hand touched his fur. The moment I did, the light around us changed, it softened, flickered. The goddess frowned. Impossible. I felt something stir deep inside me then, ancient, fierce, unstoppable. My veins burned with gold. Raen's wolf form collapsed, shifting back into his human shape. He was bleeding, but his hand found mine. "What are you doing?" he whispered. "Ending it," I said. The light surged again, and this time I met it head on. I didn't think. I didn't pray. I just felt. All the anger, all the grief, all the love I denied, I gave it back to her. The goddess staggered. For the first time, she looked afraid. "Love cannot break my curse," she hissed. "Then maybe it wasn't your curse to keep," I said. Her form began to fracture, light leaking from the cracks. "If you do this, your bond will end. One of you will die." I looked at Raen. His eyes were glassy with pain. "Then let it be me." He shook his head weakly. "No." The light flared one last time and then shattered. Everything went silent. The forest, the wind, even my heartbeat. Just quiet. When I opened my eyes again, the goddess was gone. The air smelled like rain. Raen was lying on the ground beside me, motionless. I crawled to him, my throat tight. "Raen, please." He didn't move. His skin was cold, too cold. I pressed my forehead to his. "You can't leave me." "Not now." Then, faintly, his hand twitched. His eyes opened, gray again, soft and human. "You're crying," he murmured. I thought. He reached up, brushing my cheek. "You really would have died for me." "I still might," I whispered. He smiled weakly. "Not today." We lay there for what felt like hours, too exhausted to move. The sky above us was breaking open, storm clouds giving way to dawn. He turned his head toward me. "Is it over?" "I don't know." He nodded slowly, a faint smile touching his lips. "Then let's find out." Chapter 5. The forest looked different in daylight. What had been a battlefield hours ago was now drenched in silence and golden mist. Smoke still curled from the cracks in the earth, the only sign that a goddess had fallen here. Raen and I sat side by side near the river, both of us covered in dirt and blood. His hand rested over mine, our fingers laced loosely, hesitant, as if afraid the world might punish us for it. "You broke the curse," he said softly, watching the sunlight move across the water. "You shouldn't have been able to." "Maybe it wasn't the curse that broke," I said. "Maybe it was me." He turned toward me then, the faintest smile ghosting over his lips. "You always were too stubborn to die. I learned from you." He chuckled once, then winced, clutching his ribs. The sound broke something small inside me. "Let me look at it," I said, shifting closer. He caught my wrist gently. "No healers. No magic. Just, let it hurt for a while." I frowned. "Why?" "Because for the first time in years, it's my pain. Not hers. Not the curses. Mine." That hit harder than it should have. I nodded slowly, staring at our joined hands. His palm was calloused, warm, real. For the first time since the night we met, touching him didn't feel like a sin. "Raen," I whispered, "what happens now?" He looked toward the forest, where the last traces of divine fire were dying out. "The rogues will scatter. The goddess's followers will vanish. The pack," he hesitated. They won't trust a human hunter who killed their god. Then I'll disappear. He snapped his gaze back to me, anger flashing in his eyes. Don't you dare. Raen. No, his voice cracked. You're not leaving me again. If this world wants to burn for what we did, let it. I'm done living by anyone else's rules. I met his gaze, searching it. The gold was gone now, no divine light, no curse. Just a man, tired and human. You mean that? He nodded. Every word. I leaned closer, my voice barely a whisper. Then kiss me before the world remembers us. And he did. It wasn't soft. It wasn't gentle. It was desperate, alive, everything we'd both been too afraid to want. His hands didn't hesitate. Neither did mine. When we finally broke apart, he pressed his forehead to mine, his breath uneven. You realize we just rewrote a prophecy, right? I smiled faintly. Guess we'll have to live long enough to make it worth it. He laughed, quiet and broken, the sound of a man relearning how to feel. Stay with me. Always. We found shelter in a ruined cabin near the edge of the dark city. It was small, half collapsed, but it was dry. The moon rose again that night, pale and watchful through the cracked roof. Raen slept fitfully beside the fire, his arm draped over his eyes. I sat awake, staring into the flames. The silence wasn't peaceful, it was heavy, like the world was still deciding what to do with us. Somewhere out there, wolves were howling. But none came close. I touched the mark on my wrist, the one that had burned whenever I was near him. It was fading now, faint silver lines dissolving into my skin. The bond was breaking. Raen, I whispered. He stirred, eyes opening slowly. What is it? The mark, it's fading. He sat up, eyes tracing the silver veins. The curse is gone. Then why does it feel like I'm losing something? He reached for my hand. Because you are. We both are. The bond was born from the curse. Without it, he trailed off. Without it, we're just us. He smiled softly. No gods. No magic. Just two people trying to survive. Tears pricked my eyes before I could stop them. I don't know how to be US. His thumb brushed the back of my hand. We'll learn. One day at a time. I looked into his eyes, gray, steady, painfully human. You'd really start over with me? After everything I've done? He tilted his head. You tried to kill me at least 5 times. 6, I corrected. He grinned faintly. Then yeah. I think I'll risk a 7th. I laughed then, a real, shaking laugh that broke through the ache in my chest. A laugh that didn't sound like guilt. By morning, the forest had gone still again. The fires were out, the birds had returned, and the river ran clear. Raen stood at the doorway, watching the mist rise off the city. They'll come looking for us soon. Let them. He turned back to me, a question in his eyes. And if they find us? Then we run, I said. Together this time. He nodded, pulling me close. Together. We walked out into the light. The world didn't end. It just changed. Quietly, without fanfare. And maybe that's what survival really looked like, 2 broken people walking out of the ruins, still holding hands. Weeks later, I'd almost forgotten the sound of divine voices. The nightmares had faded to whispers. But sometimes, when the wind shifted, I could still feel it, the echo of the bond that once tied us. Rain said it was just memory. I wasn't so sure. One night, while he slept, I stood outside under the stars. The moon hung low, a pale scar across the sky. "You lost," I whispered to it. "He's mine now." A breeze brushed past, soft as laughter. I smiled despite myself. Maybe gods never truly die. Maybe curses don't vanish, they just sleep. Either way, I'd already made peace with the risk. I went back inside, curling beside Rain as he stirred. His arm slipped around me automatically, his breath warm against my neck. "Can't sleep?" he murmured. I was thinking. "Dangerous," he said sleepily. "Always." He chuckled softly. "Tell me something true." I turned to face him. "I love you." He smiled without opening his eyes. "Good. Because if you ever try to kill me again, you better do it fast." I laughed, the sound echoing into the quiet. "Deal." Outside, the wind rose again, carrying the faintest hum of the goddess's song, distant, mourning, maybe even approving. We didn't listen. We had our own story now. If you've stayed with us till this moment, thank you for feeling it all, the curse, the fire, the love that refused to die. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like the video if this story left a scar you'll remember. Because sometimes love isn't about finding peace, it's about surviving the chaos together, even when the universe swore you were meant to destroy each other.